In the beginning, language. In language, there are labels of isolated categories that are not really isolated, except in the symbolic representations of language, like boundaries and lines on maps that are really only political boundaries with no physical boundary, like a fence or wall. Imagine opening the door of a building and leaving that doorway open and then talking about inside and outside. When the door is open, what boundary is there between inside and outside? The language of the label inside or outside references an imaginary boundary, that is, a boundary that only exists in language. Even when the door is closed, the boundary between inside and outside still exists in language, though certain sensory organs, the eyes and brains, may not be able to perceive visually through a closed, opaque door. However, sounds from outside can be heard. While inside may be distinct from outside, the two categories are not really isolated. Indeed, they are contrasting partners which only exist relative to the other. What is the boundary between the front of the hand and the back of the same hand? Look at your hand. Really, what's the boundary between the front of the hand and the back of the hand? The front of your body and the back of your body. Where exactly is that boundary? There isn't one. The distinction only exists in language. It's perfectly sensible. The contrast between front and back is meaningful, it's sensible, it's useful, but it's not real. It's not in the hand. In fact, there is no hand except in language. It's a distinction. Where is the exact boundary between the hallway, which is a distinction, and the living room, which is a distinction? Where's the boundary between the hallway and the living room? Exactly. It's in language. Where is the exact boundary between the left side of the room and the right side? In language, we can have these contrasting pairs, these contrasting partners. This is what's referenced by the Sanskrit term Advaita. But these contrasting partners are partners in language. Language forms those boundaries or those contrasts. They're useful. They're valuable. They're valid. They're meaningful. They exist in language. They're imaginary. Further, what if all boundaries in language are primarily just in language? What if I am blowing the clouds with the wind is just as legitimate a claim as I am typing this or I am spinning the electrons around that nucleus? Not that nucleus, this one right here, sorry. That wasn't specific. I say that I go here and I go there. I type this and so forth. But I say that because language is for communication between humans, so I'm telling some other person I go here and I go there because that's useful in communicating with other people. I may not say that I beat my heart and send my blood cells around to various destinations, like the front of my hand and the back of my hand. Nor do I say that I'm assembling some proteins right now in a certain organ. Nor do I say that I'm spinning some electrons around a nucleus. I could say all those things. Those things could be said. But because so much language is just between humans, it's not really necessarily common for someone to say to another person, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the other person to answer, "I'm spinning a bunch of electrons around a nucleus." Lots of nucleuses, actually. I'm converting some sugars into energy. I'm assembling some protons in a few organs. I'm assembling some proteins in a few organs of my body. I'm spinning around the axis of the earth. However, all of that is just as much my activities of my I as this typing or the speaking, and the me doing the typing and the me doing the speaking, as well as the reading of the typing and the listening to the sounds. All of that is just as much me and I as any of the rest of it. I'm spinning around the axis of the earth. I'm sitting in this chair. I'm spinning some electrons around a nucleus. Now, without all of that biochemistry, like spinning electrons around nucleuses, building proteins and sending blood cells around to various destinations and so forth, there would be no typing, there would be no speaking, and so on. Further, I may not say that I spin around the axis of the earth, or that I spin the earth around on its axis, or that I am the earth spinning around on an axis. But those are all true whether or not I say so. Nor do I say that I am revolving around the sun, but whether or not I say so, I am revolving around the sun. Language is a bunch of labels assembled into claims, rather like amino acids assembled into proteins. It is possible for language to form into the claim, here is an I who has a choice, and here is what I choose: to spin electrons around a nucleus, to revolve the earth around the sun. It is possible for language to form a pronoun called me, and for many thoughts about that me to be formed: what I am doing, what I choose, why I choose whatever I claim to have chosen, and so on. Why am I revolving around the sun? Why am I spinning these electrons around the nucleus? In the beginning, there was the living word, the Logos, and the living word was the perceiving of God, and the living word was with the perceiving of God. So begins the Judeo-Christian New Testament, with the opening verses of the book of John 1:1.